Today I'm going to tell you the story of what just might be my scariest solo travel experience, and it's one that I actually forget about quite often. My name is Emma. I've been solo traveling for about 3 years. Thanks for sticking around to hear the story. So this story takes place in the beautiful country of Costa Rica. I was in San Jose waiting for a friend to join me. I had just traveled from Puerto Escondido, Mexico to San Jose. And so what am I going to do while I'm waiting for my friend to join me here in San Jose? Well, I was recommended to go on a hike in this coffee farm called Hacienda La Chimba, and they had this hand that you would hike, I think it was 5 miles. And at the end, it had the hand overlooking all of the hills of coffee. And it almost looked like you were just climbing off of this cliff into God's hand. And so I decided I was going to go and do this hike by myself. And so in order to get to the hike, of course, you have to drive just a little bit. So I'm walking around basically downtown San Jose in hiking boots and bike shorts. I have my backpack with me. I have just a little bit of like fake gold jewelry on. Like this is much more jewelry than I was wearing at the moment. And I'm walking through downtown and I need to go get sunscreen before I go on this hike. So I'm not just immediately calling a taxi or an Uber. I'm walking for a little bit first. So I'm on this walk and a taxi pulls up to me and he rolls down his window and says, "So, did you just get here? You don't really look like you fit in. Where are you going?" And I said, "Oh, no, I didn't just get here. I've been here for a little bit. I'm getting ready to go on a hike. I don't normally dress like this. Don't worry about me. I'll be out in a little bit." And he says to me, "You really shouldn't be walking around with all that jewelry on. It's not safe. You shouldn't have that flashy jewelry." And I was like, "Okay, thank you so much. I'll put it away. I'll put it in my backpack." And he's like, "Well, like if you're going now, I can take you." And I said, "No, I have to do a couple things first. I'm not going right there. I got it." And so then he drives away. And so then I'm walking, and the place where I was going, the pharmacy, to try to get sunscreen actually ended up being closed. So now I've walked, maybe 5-10 minutes one direction, and I'm having to turn around and start walking a different direction to a different pharmacy, which that route does take me to a neighborhood that I was kind of like, okay, this doesn't look like maybe some of the other places I had recently been walking in. I'm just starting to get a couple red flags, and I'm like, whatever, screw the sunscreen. But then this taxi pulls up for the second time. And again, he says, "What are you still doing out? I thought you were going, like you shouldn't be out here. You shouldn't be walking around. Let me just take you. I'll take you to where you want to go. Don't worry, I'll take you." And again, I say to him, "I'm not ready to go yet. I still have a couple things to do. Don't worry about me. When it's time, I'll call an Uber." And so the first time when the guy had come by, I was like, okay, this guy truly is just trying to be helpful. He's trying to be nice and doesn't want me to get hurt or anything. And truly, San Jose felt like one of the less safe places that I had visited up until that point. I absolutely would not be walking out around by myself at sunset in San Jose. But so now the second time, it's like, okay, how did this guy find me again? Have I just not walked that far? Is he keeping an eye on me? What's going on here? That is when I kind of decided, like, okay, I think there's a coffee shop a few blocks away from here. I'm going to go run in because either, knowing myself, I probably already wanted my little coffee before I go on my hike. Either way, I was like, okay, I'm just going to run in this coffee shop and then I will call an Uber because I might have needed Wi-Fi as well in order to call this Uber. I think as I was going to go to coffee shop, get Wi-Fi, call an Uber. It's all coming back to me now. I get my coffee. I'd sit there, I drink half of it. I think I'm going to take the other half with me. And I go walk out to go call this Uber. And that is when, for the third time, the same taxi driver shows up to say, "What are you still doing here? I'll take you. I'll take you. Come on, let me take you. Don't worry about it. I got it. You have to call an Uber anyway. I'll get you. Come on, come with me." And at that point I go, "No, thank you. I've already called an Uber. I'm good. I'm going to go wait inside until my Uber gets here." And the reason that I don't remember this situation all the time is because nothing happened, right? It's like 3 interactions with a taxi driver who could have truly just been trying to get business. Maybe he truly felt worried about me and my safety and he wanted to help out. Or there's a possibility that this was someone who wanted to take me, who wanted to do harm. And it's something that I might never know. But leading up to sort of retelling this story, I actually went and I looked up, are taxis in Costa Rica safe? And what appeared in the search kind of surprised me, because it said that taxis, official taxis in San Jose in Costa Rica, are red cars. They are red and they have some sort of triangle insignia on them. And if they are official red taxis, they are safe. But when I think back to this scenario and this experience, that taxi was not red. It was a white car. And of course, now it's been a couple years and it could be me misremembering, but I remember a white car with a taxi sign on top. Like it definitely said taxi at some point somewhere on this vehicle, but it was not red. And so definitely when I read that, again, coming back to tell this story, I was like, okay, I am a little bit more worried than I normally would have been. This is just one of those situations where, you know, as women, as solo travelers, we have to always be on our toes. And even when we think that someone might be trying to help us out, or maybe they mean the best, that we can't be 100% sure. We can't always assume that people are there to help us, especially not men. And so it is just crazy to sort of look back on that situation and really realize that I'll never know if it was innocent or a safe experience, or that could have been the end of some things for me. And so yep, so that is it. That is the story that I consider to be potentially one of my scariest solo travel experiences. I absolutely have other horror stories, but when it comes to solo female travel where you look back and you're like, that was one of those moments. This was one of those moments. But that being said, even with situations like this and others that I can absolutely go more in depth into, I still have so much love and positive feelings towards solo traveling. Again, so lucky to be able to not have had anything happen to me in that instance or other instances But to me, the biggest thing that I can say to people who are considering solo travel is just go do it. Realistically, as a woman, we're always on our toes anyway. I can almost guarantee you, if you live in a major city in the United States or in Europe, you already know how to navigate around our world as a woman. And so there really isn't that big of a difference between doing it here at home or in a different country, other than maybe not knowing where you're going all the time and speaking the language. But again, that being said, even in countries where I absolutely could not speak a lick and I 90% could not understand what people were saying, I still had fantastic experiences. And I think it's just so worth it to get out there. And all right, I am definitely rambling. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much. If you haven't already, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more travel and outdoorsy content. At the end of the day, my goal is really just to hopefully inspire others to get back out into the world, to do more and to travel, whether that is booking a flight or just experiencing something new in your own town. As always, thanks for watching. Bye.